Something just came out this morning, and you are not going to want to miss this. Because this just dropped from the government, and people are already reaching out asking what it means for their grocery bills, their gas tank, their medicine, and their monthly Social Security check. Inflation in the United States just hit a 3-year high. The numbers are out today, May 12, 2026, and they are not good. Prices went up 3.8% over the past year, the highest we have seen since May of 2023. And this is hitting families everywhere, but it is hitting seniors, retirees, and people on fixed income the absolute hardest. I am going to walk you through every single piece of this today, what caused it, what it means for your grocery cart, your gas tank, your Social Security payment, and what experts are saying you can expect in the months ahead. So stick with me because there is a lot here and all of it matters to you. If this channel has been keeping you informed, please go ahead right now and hit that subscribe button. It only takes a second, and leave me a comment below telling me where you are watching from today. I read every single one. Now let us get right into it, because the numbers that came out this morning are very significant and you deserve to hear them straight. The Consumer Price Index, which is the government's main tool for measuring how much prices have gone up, rose 0.6% just in the month of April alone. And compared to 1 year ago, prices are now 3.8% higher across the board. Economists had expected the number to come in at 3.7%. Instead, it came in higher, at 3.8%. And for the first time in 3 years, your paycheck, if you are still working, is no longer keeping up with what things cost. Wages grew by 3.6% over the past year, but prices grew by 3.8%. That means for millions of Americans, you are falling behind. Now, I want to explain what is driving all of this because it is important to understand the why behind the numbers. So stick with me. The biggest driver of this inflation surge is energy prices, and energy prices are up because of the ongoing conflict involving the United States and Iran in the Middle East. The Strait of Hormuz, which is a critical waterway that carries roughly 1/5 of the entire world's oil and natural gas supply, has been effectively blocked since March of this year as a result of that conflict. When that much oil cannot move freely through the world, prices go up fast and they go up everywhere. And that is exactly what we are seeing right now in your own neighborhood. Energy prices overall are up 17.9% compared to 1 year ago. Gasoline is up 28% over the past year. Fuel oil, the kind many people use to heat their homes, is up 54% over the past year. 54%. That is not a small number. For seniors who heat their homes, who drive to doctor's appointments, who are paying utility bills on a fixed income, these kinds of increases are crushing. And I want you to know that I am not here to scare you. I am here because you deserve the truth. Now let us talk about food prices, because this is the one that hits closest to home for most families every single day. Food prices overall went up 3.2% compared to 1 year ago, and groceries specifically rose at their fastest pace since 2023. Beef prices went up 14.8% compared to a year ago. Let that sink in for a moment. Nearly 15% more for beef at the checkout counter. One economist put it this way: for most families, what matters most is the cost of a gallon of gas and a pound of beef. And right now, both are up quite a lot. It is the extra $5, the extra $10, the extra $20 that is coming out of your wallet every single week. Seniors have reported spending $50 to $100 more per month on groceries compared to just 2 years ago. And for someone living on a Social Security check of around $2,000 a month, that extra $50 to $100 is not a small thing. That is money that was supposed to go toward your medicine, your electric bill, your phone, your peace of mind. Now, I know some of you are thinking, okay, but what about the COLA I received this year? Did that not help cover this? And that is a fair and important question. Let me address it right now because the answer is more complicated than it might seem. The Social Security Administration officially set the 2026 COLA at 2.8%. For the average retiree, that works out to about $56 more per month, or roughly $672 more over a full year. Now, $56 a month sounds like something, and any extra money matters when you are on a tight budget. I completely understand that. But here is the problem, and this is what I want you to really understand, so stay with me. That 2.8% COLA was calculated based on inflation data from last year. It is always looking backward, not forward. So right now, today, in May of 2026, inflation is running at 3.8% and climbing. Your raise was based on last year's prices, but you are shopping at this year's prices, and this year's prices are higher. One financial expert described the situation as a double squeeze. You are dealing with higher gas prices right now. And at the same time, core prices for things like shelter, airline fares, clothing, and household items are also going up. The expert said households are finding it harder to shift money from one category to another when most major categories are becoming more expensive at the same time. That is a very real description of what millions of seniors and retirees are experiencing right now in their day-to-day lives. And I want to say this directly to you. If you are feeling squeezed right now, if your money is not going as far as it used to, you are not imagining it. You are not being careless. You are not doing anything wrong. The numbers prove that prices are rising faster than your benefits are keeping up. A survey from the Nationwide Retirement Institute found that more than half of retirees say they have already had to cut back on discretionary spending, and 31% said they have cut back on essentials, not luxuries. Essentials, things like groceries and medications. That number breaks my heart, honestly. Cutting back on medicine because of prices. That should not be happening in this country to people who worked their entire lives. And I will keep saying that, and I will keep covering these stories because you deserve to have someone in your corner speaking up about this. Now let me tell you what experts are watching going forward, because this story is not over and I want to make sure you have the full picture. Economists are warning that even if the situation in the Middle East improves in the coming weeks, it could take months, some say up to 6 or 9 months, for the energy supply chain to fully normalize and for gas prices to start coming down meaningfully. And as long as energy stays expensive, everything that gets shipped, transported, packaged, and refrigerated also stays expensive. That includes your groceries, your medicine, your household goods, all of it. Now here is something that not everyone is talking about, but I think matters very much for you going forward. Because of this spike in inflation that started in March and is now showing in the April numbers, some senior advocacy groups are now projecting that the 2027 Social Security COLA could come in higher than expected. One analyst, Mary Johnson, who has tracked Social Security policy for many years, raised her estimate for the 2027 COLA to 3.2% after seeing the March and April inflation data. Another projection from the Senior Citizens League puts it around 2.8%, similar to this year. Now, a higher COLA for 2027 sounds like relief. But here is what I need you to understand. A higher COLA next year means prices are higher this year and next year too. It is not a bonus. It is a catch-up payment for inflation you have already been living through. As one expert put it very clearly, it is a cost of living adjustment, not a cost of living advantage. Seniors are not getting ahead. They are barely treading water. And that is the honest truth. And you deserve the honest truth, not just headlines that make things sound better or worse than they are. Now let me also mention something that could actually provide some real help to many of you watching. There is a new $6,000 tax deduction that was included in recent legislation for taxpayers who are 65 and older, as long as their income falls below a certain threshold. This deduction applies starting with your next tax filing and runs through the 2028 tax year. ARP supported this provision being included in the legislation, and it is something worth looking into with a tax professional or your local senior center. It is not going to solve the problem of rising prices on its own, but for some of you, it could mean real money back in your hands, and every dollar matters. I know that. You know that. And that is why I want to make sure you hear about every resource that is available to you. Now, I also want to address something that I know is on a lot of your minds, and that is the Federal Reserve and interest rates. When inflation goes up this fast, the Federal Reserve has to decide what to do about it. Their job is to keep inflation close to 2%. Right now, inflation is at 3.8%, almost double their target. And some analysts are now raising the possibility that instead of cutting rates, the Fed may have to think about raising rates again. One investment officer said it is very unlikely we will see any interest rate cuts this year. Now, what does that mean for you? It means if you have any debt, mortgage, credit card, auto loan, it stays more expensive for longer, and it means that the broader economy stays under pressure. Businesses face higher costs. Hiring slows. Things do not loosen up as quickly as people had hoped. This is a complicated situation. There are no easy answers, and I am not going to pretend otherwise. But what I can tell you is that I am watching all of it closely, and I will be right here bringing you updates every step of the way. I will keep you updated on the inflation numbers, on your Social Security benefits, on gas prices, grocery prices, and everything that affects your wallet. That is what this channel is here for, and that is not going to change. If you have not already, check with your local senior center about programs that may help with groceries, utilities, or prescription costs. There are programs out there that can make a real difference, and you should not be leaving any of that help on the table. I will keep covering all of it: the inflation numbers, the Social Security updates, the benefit changes, and anything else that affects your life and your money. If today's update was helpful to you, please take 2 seconds right now and like this video. It helps more people just like you find this channel. And subscribe if you have not already so you never miss an update. Leave a comment below telling me how inflation is affecting you where you live. I want to hear from you. Your stories matter, and I will be right back here tomorrow with the latest. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, and I will see you in the very next update.